A Russian assault took place on January 28th in the Donetsk region. The Russians, using armored personnel carriers equipped with additional armor, attempted to break through deep into Ukrainian defenses and launch an attack there. They were intercepted by drone pilots of the Rubizh brigade, who were responsible for that sector. The pilots began striking the armored vehicle until it came to a stop. When the armored vehicle lost control, the crew inside was forced to carry out an emergency disembarkation. While the Russians were dismounting, the pilots, wasting no time, continued to attack the enemy soldiers. The soldiers who managed to survive began looking for cover among the trees, but since the trees were bare at the time, their attempts to hide were clearly visible to the reconnaissance drone pilot. Here, the drone bomber pilots began carrying out their mission. Frightened by what was happening, the Russians didn't know what to do. They were like open targets in the hands of the Ukrainian drone pilots. Some tried to shoot at the drones with their rifles, others attempted to blend in with the branches, but these efforts proved unsuccessful. The drone pilots tracked down each Russian occupier and mercilessly punished them for coming to seize their land. Hoping to hide, the Russians moved into dense thickets, but Ukrainian drones are equipped with thermal imaging cameras, so during the cold season, it was extremely uncomfortable for the Russian assault troops. That day, the Russian attempt to break through Ukrainian defenses ended in complete failure for the Russian assault troops. Here is another mechanized assault that took place recently. On April 24th, also in the Donetsk region, the Russians deployed a large number of mechanized armored vehicles, such as armored personnel carriers and MTLBs, which were fully loaded with Russian assault groups. Ukrainian drone pilots began attacking the enemy vehicles as soon as the Russians started approaching the line of contact. As soon as the Russians realized their chances of survival were slim, they began abandoning their armored vehicles and running toward the nearest tree lines, hoping to hide from artillery strikes and drone pilots. At the same time, Ukrainian soldiers, wasting no time, began destroying the enemy vehicles to prevent the Russians from escaping or using them again. Additional reinforcements were heading toward the first Russian mechanized group, but luck was not on their side. They drove into a minefield and were blown up by Ukrainian mines. As clearly seen from the reconnaissance drone, the entire field is scarred by shell explosions. The Russians attempt to advance in the Donetsk region every day, but in practice, they suffer heavy losses in armored vehicles and manpower. Drone pilots and artillery crews constantly monitor for enemy assaults and are always ready to deliver a powerful response. This is the Russian SA-17 Grizzly surface-to-air missile system, valued at approximately $45 million. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone identified the enemy target and began tracking it. At that time, the Russians were attempting to change their combat position and camouflage among the dense trees. However, they did not manage to do so well. A Ukrainian HIMARS delivered a precise strike and destroyed the target. And now, the pilots of Magyar Birds have found a bridge through which the Russians were moving their heavy armored vehicles. As can be clearly seen, the bridge is well fortified with concrete columns, but that is not a problem. Earlier, a friendly unit had mined this bridge, and now, all the pilots of Magyar Birds need to do is deliver a precise strike to destroy the crossing. The drone pilot delivers a precise strike, and thanks to the previously planted mines, a powerful detonation occurs, completely destroying the bridge. Here's the view from another drone, which was on standby in case the first one didn't detonate properly. This is hangar where the Russians are hiding their equipment. The drone pilot struck a truck that was loaded with ammunition. The explosion completely destroyed the hangar. A Russian Bukhanka encountered a Kamikaze drone and was completely destroyed. And here is a motorcyclist who parked among the green leaves, hoping to remain well hidden, but it didn't work out. The enemy was located and neutralized. That's all for today, friends. Subscribe to the channel to keep up with the latest news. This material was prepared by Hustler. See you soon.